Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pink Table Talk. How are you all doing today? I'm your girl, Laria Reed, and I'm here with these two beautiful ladies. We've got a great topic for you. I say that every week, and I even say, the same thing over and over. We have a great topic every week, but we really do. Our Women of Hope team come out with great topics, and today is no different. Big shout out to the Women of Hope at the House of Hope Atlanta. But really quickly, today we are talking about keeping the flame in your marriage hot, sizzling, burning, ready to go. And we've got two women here who have been in the game for a while. They look beautiful and young and vivacious and all of those things. And I don't want to give away how long they've been married. I'll let them tell that story. But we are so excited to have them today. So if you've got a friend who wants to be married or is married or needs some good tips, make sure that you send them this video because today we've got some great wisdom on here. So make sure that you do that. All right. So our first guest right here in the middle with this cute, she's so sassy all the time. She is a pleasure, just a fun person to be around. She's been married. Well, I'm not going to say how many years she's been married. I'll let her do that. But she is a Chicago native. Chi-Town is in the house. And she met her husband when they were kids. And so they reconnected and got to know each other and whatnot. And she's got some vital advice. They give our Life University group advice all the time in this area. And we're so happy to have her. So would you all please welcome Miss Barbara House. Hello, Miss Barb.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. And she told me her husband's name is Kenneth. And she said, yeah, Barb and Ken. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
we got a real life
wow.
Barbie and Ken.
The black version.
Yeah, the black version, the chocolate version. I love it. And next to
Yes.
her, I have just gotten to know Miss Irene over a couple of months, and she's just been a joy in our group as well. She's been married to her high school sweetheart. She's from Hickory, North Carolina. They were high school sweethearts, got married, pastored a church in California in Oakland. It is the Glad Tidings Community Church of Oakland, California, from 2005 to 2016. So she's a pastor's wife as well and has wisdom galore. We're so glad to have her. Would you all please welcome Miss Irene? Hello, Miss
Hello,
Irene.
everyone. Such a pleasure to
So
be
glad.
on with you guys.
So glad to have the both of you all. So I want to go on and get on into it. If you all are watching, please go ahead on and share this, like this, and let your friends know that we're talking about marriage today and keeping that flame and fire going. So my first question is, how long have you been married? And what has helped your marriage survive turbulent times? So, how long you've been married, and I know every marriage has its ups and downs, but what do you believe really assisted with you surviving this long? So, I'll start with you, Miss Barb.
Well, my husband and I have been married 34 years. We got married June 19th, 1987, after we relocated here from Chicago. So we've been here in Georgia for quite a while now. Um, you know, like everyone, I'm sure prayer is one of the essential things, but there's so many practical things that keep you together in your marriage, and that stick to itiveness and determination to make something work is really vital in order to keep that marriage going. And praying for your husband, praying for yourself, praying for the marriage. Um, those are some vital things that are necessary, and just using every resource, every godly resource, every practical resource that you can think of to keep the flame going, because you change, he changes, I've changed, he changed, and as we evolve, we need to make adjustments in order to make this thing work.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. What about you, Miss Irene?
So we've been married 39 years. Um, got together in 1975. Were you born, Laria? Probably not.
No, why wasn't I?
Uh, Yeah, I figured not. So yeah, we left Hickory, two country bumpkins, and went to California. And um, day one, I ended up getting pregnant. So we ended up, just realizing that there's some maturity that's going to have to take place real fast. Like we were
Yeah.
23 years old. So that's one thing that I can say that's really helped us in succeeding is that we matured. We knew that we had to grow up. And in that process, we ended up losing a daughter. And God really got our attention in that process because we just thought we were going to live our best life, after leaving mommy and
Mhm.
daddy and going to, out west to this big city. And so, yeah, we lost a daughter. She lived for a day. And so we ended up
Mhm.
just really drawing closer to the Lord and remembering that foundation. And that really has helped us to succeed. And then we're both, he's a single child and I'm the baby of the family. So,
Oh,
that was
wow.
even worse. So yeah, we had some serious growing up to do, but the Lord really had His hands on us, and so we, prayer. You're right, but we have this thing that's called the 5 C's. That's called Christ, communication, compassion, consideration, and compromise. Those are
Oh,
the
wow.
5 things
Oh,
definitely
excellent.
keeps that marriage together.
Yeah, those are
Like
good. So I
I,
guess you're kind of getting ahead of me with those 5 C's, and you say those again so we can put comments, if you don't mind.
yes, so it's Christ, communication,
Price communication.
compassion, compromise, and consideration.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow. Those are some good ones. I think that can go well with friendships as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so with you guys, I know that in marriage and even in relationships, people irk your nerves and they do things that you don't like, and you just want to, oh!
Yeah.
So, how do you get through those irks? And it could be financial, it could be parenting, being on the same page, but knowing who you're married to. And those things may not change. So, how do you deal with those things? And I'll start with Miss Irene on this one.
Well, first of all, they're not deal breakers. Nothing in that category is going to break up this marriage. I'll say that. But yeah, the finances I think was the hardest part for us. Um, lots of conflicts, lots of arguing, but the cleanliness piece, um, we didn't have any issues with that. We're both just clean freaks, almost like OCD almost. And so, early on in marriage, it did make a difference, like, why did you turn it that way? I have an issue. I'm very organized and I like things a certain way, and so does he. So, those types of things used to irk me.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jermaine Dolly, Mr. Hello Dolly himself, and guess what? You're tuned in to Tea and Worship with my homies, Mignon and Corey. Keep it locked, y'all.
Hey y'all, it's Candy West, and you're watching Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey.
It's your boy James Fortune, and you are watching my favorite news show, Tea and Worship, with my sis Mignon and Corey.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Why do you think these men don't want to get married?
It really depends on an individual's why we're getting married. A lot of the things that make a man good are kind of intangible, and his credit score shouldn't be the metric for what makes him good.
So, Miss Barbara, with dealing with IRCs and all the different things that I'm sure you've had to go through, finances, parenting styles, just different things. How do you move through those being a married couple and not allowing them to be the detriment of your marriage?
Well, basically, I guess the best way to say it is if you have the same goals, if you have the same values, you pretty much, even though my husband and I have the same goals and values, we go at an issue or situation differently. It comes out the same.
Mhm.
We want the same thing in the end, but we tend to come out differently. So we can get a little combative with how to address an issue. But communication, like Miss Irene said, is so critical. As long as you talk it out, sometimes you have to go in another room and come back and readdress it. And that could be anything from family, in-laws, definitely finances. We are both organized and clean freaks, so we never have an issue with the house being dirty or out of sorts. That kind of thing is really easy for us. But some of the irks I think we have is just how to go about handling things. It could be how to address a business, a person, a relationship that we have issue with, a family member that tends to irritate us for whatever reason that we have challenges with. So most of the time we can talk it out, but sometimes with my personality and his personality, because we're both strong type personalities, we have to separate and get some air and come back. That's what works for us.
Yeah, yeah. Moving on to our next question, and these are questions that our women have come up with that they want to ask. So, how do you maintain intimacy and a sex life, being married, handling children? Because some of our women are still having, small children and work schedules and practices and all that. So, how do you maintain intimacy as well as a healthy sex life, being a married, godly woman? And I'll start with Miss Irene.
Okay. I know you said intimacy, but my husband and I, we term it totally different. And I know that the sex word is so common,
Mm-hmm.
but for us, we say making love. And
Yeah.
I just think that's so much more meaningful, in a marriage of two people that really love each other. And so, you know, for us, I think it's just making the time. A lot of times, you're, especially when we were working and then pastoring, and you have to make the time to be with your significant other, your spouse. It can't be one of those, I got a headache, I got this, and I got, this going on. Because in reality, they're really, it's really a stress reducer. You know, it reduces the stress, it releases that strain. It lets you sleep good at night. All of these other, benefits, as I would say, as a result of it. And so, it keeps the flame burning when you get creative, of course. Um, but for us, it seems like as we got older and retired and empty nesters, it just seems like it went to a whole nother level, as
Oh,
whereas before, you just kind of like rush in and, I ain't got time or whatever. it's just interesting. And to be honest, I would always pray that that would be the case for us, that we would always have
Mhm,
a desire for one another, that that would never cease, you know. And so God has truly
mhm.
granted us that. So, you know, and to be honest, I know with the younger crew, that's not a problem. But as you get older, you can't allow that to cease, you know. I think that's important.
Wow.
Yeah.
So making the time to make love, as you said.
That's
Yes,
it. That's
yes,
That's
that's
good.
yes.
That's
it.
good. But
Mhm.
what about you, Miss Barbara, with intimacy and making love or
Well,
sex or whatever you and your husband call it?
I like the way Miss Irene phrased it. And, when you get older, and like she said, you're empty nester, now you have the freedom. Whatever room you want to go to, you don't have to have any
Come on
clothes
now.
on in the house. Everybody's at home. You can be a little bit more adventurous. Um,
Right.
but along with that, with age, I've been married 34 years, and uh, over 60, there are some physical challenges that come into play.
Most definitely.
From hormones decreasing to you just maybe can't make the right moves like your mind tell you want to make. But
Uh-oh.
but you just have to be creative. You really do have to be creative. And I tell you, I remember, when I turned 50, that was a real challenge for me. I still wanted to feel, sexy. And one Valentine's Day, I decided to do a, uh, a still shot in some lingerie, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, with the soundtrack, with the Jill Scott soundtrack, and
All
trying
right
to,
now.
spice it up. And, I've taken the pole dancing classes, and, had the little low lights and the little dancing there. And that works sometimes, but, you just can't do that you know,
That's right.
every month or whatever.
You got to
But
get
I
that
try to come
liniment
up
out
with
or something,
something
huh?
creative. Huh?
I said,
She said you
otherwise,
got to
you
get
better
that
get that
liniment out.
liniment out or something.
That's right. That's right. So, I'd say to the married couples, and I know it's hard when you have young children, the young married couples, and you've worked and you're tired, and of course, most of the times the men are always ready, and the women still got stuff to do and put the kids down and clean up and all of that.
Exactly.
But cherish those times while you can, because actually, as you get older, it's a little bit more of a challenge. It's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more of a challenge to even to physically go all the time. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you're young, cherish it, but when you're older, it's a different in intimacy in a different way. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
just, it's not all just sex. Sometimes it's more getting into the person and what they like and where they want to go, and just talk about things and reminisce about things. So um, you have to find various ways to keep that intimacy and that good going.
Look, Miss
Yes,
Barbara, you
ma'am.
didn't. Right. She gonna have everybody doing lingerie pictures with Jill Scott in the background and take pole dancing. But that's a
I'll
good
miss
thing.
the
Yeah,
pole. I'll miss the
yeah,
pole
I had to
altogether.
try.
My hat's off to you, I tell you.
I'm having a challenge here,
You're good.
but
Yeah,
but yeah,
but
it,
that's
it
good.
helps. After you get past 10, 15, 20 years, you got to be creative. I felt like I had to be creative. I had to come up with and it's our marriage bed, so there's no real, uh,
Right.
I won't say there's no taboo, but you got to come out of your comfort zone a little bit. You got to keep him interested and keep him thinking, you know,
Mhm.
and it just makes a difference. Sometimes, just having that little pat on the butt, when you go past or something, being so visual. You
Right,
just got to find out what your
exactly.
man likes and
Exactly.
tap into it every once in a while. Surprise him every once in a while. That keeps it
Mhm.
going because it can get
Yeah,
boring for the women too.
you're
You
right.
know,
And
just
I
want to do
agree.
the same
I
thing
think the
on.
negligee is important, but you don't always have to have the bonnet and the, pajamas up to here, and like you say, dress up, and make it exciting.
Most definitely. I think all of our women are getting all this great advice. So let us know in the comments how you're feeling about all of this because this is really good. And it's good. It's kind of sitting down with your aunties, getting a good talk about what you can do and how you can get it done and all of these different things that we're talking about.
Well, look, you might not be popular, but my favorite character is Celestial because
So one of the quotes that I wrote down in the book that kind of stood out to me was love is the enemy of sound judgment.
She seemed like a very needy woman. And I can't even respect Andre because how do you prey on your friend's wife while he's incarcerated? Like, I just can't get with that. And maybe I got too invested in the book, That's the point.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
We are still talking all about the season of fall.
Hey, Miss Kim. Hey, Miss Kim.
So my next question is that I wanted to ask is what's the best marriage advice that you have received or that you've been given by someone? The best advice that you've been given in marriage, or one thing that you would tell someone that that has sustained you throughout these years. The best one you could think of. Ms. Barbara, are you ready or are you still thinking?
Yeah, there are a couple of things I wanted to mention. And when I
Okay.
first, actually, my husband and I, this is my second marriage, his first marriage. I
Okay.
was married to my college sweetheart very briefly, but out of that marriage came my only child, my one son. And what I learned and what I was told, and I really learned it. Um, of course, our husband chooses us. We don't necessarily choose them. We receive them if that's what God confirms. But one of my criteria was if I knew he would kill a bear or whatever I needed to take care of me and protect me, that was the type of man that I needed as a husband, that I didn't have to worry about my child, that I didn't have to worry about my own physical body or my welfare. If I knew that he was the one that was going to cover me, was going to protect me, like I said, if he had to kill a bear for me, then I was confident that that's the one that I needed to be yoked to. And that has proven to be true because I've had serious illnesses, and even like Irene and I were talking about, now with her knee surgery, when you have someone that's going to take care of you, stand by you. My husband wasn't the best cook either. I got a lot of Zaxby's and Gordon Fisherman meals when I was down really sick with my
Uh-huh.
different surgeries, especially my heart surgery. But I didn't have to worry about anything. A glass of water, I could just rest and recover. And so
Mm.
those are things that I would tell women, even though he may not be the neatest guy as far as with the house, if he loves you and love your kids and he protects you, you can rest and know that he's going to make sure you all are okay. That's worth
Mm.
fighting for. That's worth sticking for, because you can't find that every day.
Mm.
A lot of guys out here just looking for what they can get from you, but not can really give. So
Right.
I would say if you've got a husband like that, stay
Mm-hmm.
with them, because we all change, we all mature, we all grow. I'm definitely not the way I was when I first married my husband, thankfully. And the Lord has taught me a lot about myself and about how I needed to make changes as
Mm.
well. So not just look for what he needs to improve, but see what you can do to improve yourself, and you'll be surprised. You'll draw him in. Pray for him. Ask him what he needs you to pray for him for.
Mm.
Sometimes I would be in the closet. I'd say, Lord, now I mean, physically, I would go in the closet. Lord, now you see how he treating me. You see how he snapped at me. You see all this I got to do, you know, and
Right.
I would complain about him, but I had issues too. And when I came to the
Mm-hmm.
realization that I needed to make adjustments, as much as I wanted him to make adjustments, that took me to a different level, a different maturity, a different respect. I never had to worry about bills being paid or God forbid him being physical with me, but just
Mm.
that I had trust. I could trust him in that situation and give him a chance. Sometimes they're a little slow. They might not be the best steward, but if you stick with them and pray for them and ask them what you can pray for them for, you'll be
Mhm.
surprised. My friends have told me that known us ever since we were kids, that man, has my husband changed dramatically since
Mm.
we were young. So
Mm.
you got a basic good man, just pray for him and work with him. You'll be surprised. God will reward you for your
Yeah.
faithfulness as well.
Amen. Amen. That was good. And what about you, Miss
Yes.
Irene? The best advice you've received or that you want to give?
Well, I want to single, kind of point to the single women, um, because I've been there, and the one thing that I, recommend is to shorten that qualification list. A lot of times you got,
Mm.
20 things this man needs to be, and then I don't know what you bring to the table, but as a single woman, you got to bring something to the table. What do you have? Have you prepared yourself for marriage? you know um, I'm grateful that we were able to date for 7 years, but I know in this day and time a lot of the single women are just kind of having to rush. My clock is ticking, I gotta hurry up, find me a man, so they're just trying to
Mhm.
get through that process. And so there's a preparation for this lifelong commitment. This thing ain't no joke, And I always say that, um, if you want to be in marriage, you got to work the marriage, or the marriage is going to work you.
Mhm.
You know.
Wow.
So, and so that's the one recommendation that I have, that you become friends to it as much as you can, because when you get to know someone, I tell you, when we sign that paper, you do, I do, we do, it's like, whoa. I mean, it just seemed like things just changed. Like, wait a minute, that's not what
Yeah, I've
happened,
heard that.
but now I can't go back at the altar. I literally told him, you stuck. So if there's a
Wow.
problem, you better tell me, before today. Don't tell me at that
Right.
altar. It's a lifelong commitment. So you really want to become best friends. And then the bottom line, I think, too, is that um, women want tender love and care, that TLC, but the man wants that respect. And a lot of times
Mhm.
I'm hearing now, when I did some counseling and, and even talking to other women to this day, they're like, well, I just need him to take care of me. I need him to do this, that, and the other. And he want me to fix his plate. Oh, I ain't fixing no plate. I ain't ironing no clothes. I ain't doing. So what are you going to do for this man? You know, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that, I'm old school. I am old
Mhm.
school. I believe in taking care of the man and making sure that his needs are met. No matter what that is, if I can, then it's gonna happen, because if you don't, somebody else will come behind you and make sure it is. And
That's
so,
true.
and to those that are married, I'm just gonna go to that extent, is that early on in marriage, I kind of lost myself. I just became, even though we dated, it's like, oh, I'm married, it's all him, to literally, he came in one day and he walked in and I was cooking something. I was trying to hear him melt this grease and I set the house on fire. I was so like, oh, he's home. So,
Mhm.
I was just like so mesmerized. But anyway, don't lose yourself to where, not to that extent you're going to burn the house down, but still, remember who you are. Remember who you are and just stay true to yourself. But also, protect your marriage, and, make it the best that you can. It takes work. It takes commitment. It takes time that you spend together, um, all of the above. It is
Mhm.
truly work.
That is
I
It's a
can
so
good
that
see
one.
is
that.
so true. That is so true what Miss Irene was saying, and I just thought about when she said protect your marriage. It's very important for married couples to be careful of who you uh, fellowship with, surround yourself with. Some people
Yeah.
don't want to see a happy marriage, so they're
Mhm.
always making comments or bringing in strife into your marriage. So you have to be very protective of your spouse, of your
Yeah.
family, and really get to know yourself so that you meet someone, you might think they're, okay, but that person might be planting seeds or causing division. Sometimes things that you don't even consider a problem. Oh, girl, I wouldn't do that. You
Hmm.
have to be
Mhm.
very careful. Those are some practical things. Also, align yourself with some married couples that can speak life into your marriage. We had a
Yes.
couple of older couples that really helped us when we were young in our marriage,
Hmm.
and thank God for them. And then
Hmm.
fellowship with other married couples. For years, we went camping. Yes, actually in the woods camping with several
Wow.
couples, and we would sit around and have campfire talks. We'd call them "Come to Jesus" talks, and we talk about men issues and women issues. It's just, you need that support group. You can't just be in a little island all by yourself, married, because you think your
Hmm.
issues are so big and they may be just as common to other
You're right.
people. So you have to kind of be transparent, within reason, um,
Hmm.
and just protect your marriage. Do whatever you can. I tell you, I remember when I was much younger, and I know you all have heard of her, Stormy O'Martin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name
Uh-huh.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
praying for your spouse, praying, the
Right.
power of a
Right.
praying wife. All kind of tools, all kind of resources that you can find, because
Exactly.
things are going to change, and certain things that were important when the kids were little won't be the same
Yeah.
issues when they become teenagers
Mhm.
or when they leave home, but they'll
Hmm.
still be connected to you. But there are different phases throughout your marriage when you've been married as long as we have, that you have to
Right.
adjust, and you need support and resources from other godly people that can kind of help you through those challenges.
Most definitely. Wow.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, ladies. Oh my goodness, you all gave such great wisdom and advice. This is so
Thank
awesome. I
you.
loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming on. Now I can't get that image of out my head of Miss Barb on a pole. I'm gonna be
But
thinking
Yeah.
about that forever.
you go,
Yes, you
sister.
gotta be who you are. You got to be who you are,
That's right. That's right. And that's your
Exactly.
personality. But I am so grateful for the two of you all coming on today to talk to us about this. And we're going to have another forum where you all come back and give us some more advice. And maybe we can do a question and answer kind of thing with some of the ladies with some advice. But
Oh,
we're so grateful for you all coming on. I know our Women of Hope are so excited because we always get great advice from Miss Letice Reynolds and some of our other ladies within the group. But it's
Yes.
always good to get some more people who are going through the same thing, and a lot of the things that you all said she's told us as well. But it's good to hear it from others because you have to go to people who are successful in things so that you can be successful as well. And we're just
exactly.
so grateful that God has favored you all to work in your marriages to be where you are because I'm sure it took work. So,
Most definitely.
so thank
Yes.
you again, Miss Barbara House. We appreciate you, Miss Irene, and her husband, Pastor Ben. I did give him a shout out. I said about Barbie and Kim, but I did say Pastor Ben. And Miss Irene, they have a podcast as well on Facebook of
Yeah.
video. What is it called? The vlog, basically on Facebook, and they talk about all of these different issues. So make sure that you
Yeah.
follow them. You see her information below her. So we're so grateful to have the both of you on, and thank you for
Yes.
tuning in today. And we can't wait to see you again for another Pink Table Talk. So we'll catch you the next time. Thank y'all for
All
watching.
right.
Thank you.
Every discipline starts with creating a habit. Find a plan that works for you. I know you can put a reminder in your phone, call so and so in 30 days. You can't use the excuse that, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. You know, stuff people like to say. Nah, if you're not outgoing, right, you better get going because that's the only way networking works.